Welcome back to a couple of therapists.
Welcome to you.
You're my co-host.
I know. Good to be here. A couple of therapists, musing on therapy and well-being.
Yeah, and today we wanted to talk about all things letting go because we both
Yes.
have very different opinions on what letting go is for each of us.
Yeah, which was surprising to me because I thought we were
Really?
quite similar on that. What is your definition of letting go? Like, how do you see it?
I believe that letting go means something different every single moment of the day.
Yeah,
So for me right now, it could be letting go of the tension that's in my hips right now. But in a minute, I could walk out my office door and my dog's torn up our sofa. And I have
yeah.
some anger that might be nice to let go of. Or got some tension in the body that I just need to exhale and let go of it. So I believe
But it's
it's
always about like moving,
energy.
moving through a feeling or energy for
Yeah,
you.
that could be it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I believe it's unique to everyone, you know. So for some people, it's like very future orientated or very past orientated. Like, I really need
yeah.
to let go of this outcome, or in the past, I really need to let go of this trauma.
Right, right. Exactly. But I see, I still think what you're saying is also what I say, just in different words, right? I think letting go means staying with the feeling, right? In order to let go, you have to stay with,
Yes.
because what you resist persists. So if you
Yes.
don't resist the feeling that's with you, the feeling is allowed its full cycle of experiencing, and then the tension releases.
Mm. So
You,
letting go is coming back to the present moment.
it always is.
Yeah.
But it's the method. It's what you do to be able to come back to the present moment.
Right. Meditation.
Yes. I was actually having a conversation about that with a client just before, right just before this, actually.
Mm.
And I said to him, what if I, what if I asked you how I could get the whitest teeth in the world? What would I do? He said, well, you'd have to brush your teeth. And I said,
Mm.
well, how many times? God, that sounds like a chore. And he said, well, you have to do it for the rest of your life. Well, how many times a day? Two, three times, whatever it is, right? Let's just replace whitest teeth in the world with healthiest mind in the world. What would you
Mm.
have to do every day for the rest of your life? You develop a practice,
Yeah.
really, a gratitude practice, a meditation practice, but really is a prayer practice. Essentially, what it is a present-oriented practice, to your point.
Mm.
Whatever it is, as long as its focal point is on coming back to the here and now.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everything is happening right here, right now.
Exactly.
We're getting very gestalt-y.
Yes. True, true. But it's always about staying with, noticing, focusing on how and what questions, not on why questions. The mind loves a why question,
Mm,
you know.
yeah. No, I feel like it is going to be unique to everyone though. That's what I feel like, you know, maybe there is no one thing, but it's very interesting to talk about. And especially when I'm facilitating in breath work, it's like, well, what's right here, right now,
Mm,
you know,
mm.
with each breath, with each exhale.
Yeah, yeah. As in what is coming up for you in this
Yeah,
moment.
in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hence your point about what do you need to let go of right now.
Yes.
So letting go of so the process of letting go is a thing that we can agree on, but what it is that's coming up for you in the now, right? That is the thing that's going to be unique to all of us.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. A lot of the spiritual teachers talk about this, this idea that the way to move toward greater well-being, enlightenment, happiness, whatever it means, whatever it is just by noticing what's coming up for you in each moment and being with that,
Hmm.
and then moving on to the next thing when the next thing emerges. And if
Yes.
it's anxiety, for example, a lot of the people that we listen to the show have a lot of anxiety issues, right? How can you stay with that feeling,
Mm.
and get better and better at it over time, right? And really focus on the feeling, not on the intrusive thoughts or
Mm.
the what if scenarios, you know,
That's
coming
hard
back
to
into the
do.
body. It's very hard to do.
It took me back to when you were saying that of how can you stay with anxiety. And I
Mm,
remember when I used to, at the very beginning, stay with my anxiety. I was obviously very much in my head,
yeah.
and I would stay so much with it. There would be like panic attack,
Yes.
stay with it again. So I would, by staying with it, I was also resisting it because I was like, don't have a panic attack, don't have a panic attack, don't, which was
Yeah.
me staying with it, which brought on the panic attack, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing of like what you resist persists. But for me, it was about getting into the body and moving the anxious energy. So it's like
Yeah.
staying with the feeling that's in the body, which is tough. So obviously, tools like breath work for me helped,
Yeah.
grounding helped, getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. So it's like, again, so unique,
Yeah.
finding that tool that works for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Von. The more in the head we are, the more we identify with each thought, the more we are going to amplify the feeling that's driving that particular thought. And
Mm,
unfortunately, they usually are quote unquote negative emotions, because we don't, none of us attach to happiness, or laughter or excitement. So those emotions just pass through quite easily.
yeah.
But
We
we
don't
all
add weight
attach
to it.
to, we don't add weight to it, right? But we all attach to sadness and guilt and grief and anxiety and, all this kind of stuff, and they stick around as a result because we reinforce their needing to be here,
Mm,
But I think what you said there is so important when it comes to letting go of anxiety in particular, is that you really want to just, especially at those upper echelons, you want to just see it as energy. You say this all the time, right? Can you reframe it and see it as energy, creative energy, potential, right?
mm,
But release it, move it, shake your legs, do breath work, tap, go for a gentle walk, whatever it is, so that when it starts to cool off, that's when you can practice being with it
yeah.
so that it eventually dissipates.
Yeah. And it depends. I always think as well, there's like levels or stages of anxiety as well. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like just speaking personally, when I was in my panic attacks, it was so freaking high that I needed to do like some form of movement to move the energy,
yeah,
some form of, things that was also nourishing to my body. Like,
yeah,
I feel like when I have a client that's got that type of anxiety, I would never be like, yeah, go hyperventilate and jump in a cold bath and
yeah, yeah.
eat sugar,
Have some
drink
coffee.
coffee, which I was doing. I was thinking of that earlier. I was like, I was just drinking coffee like first thing in the morning and I was having panic attacks. No idea, no idea.
Yeah,
But obviously, learning that and going through that, I would never get a client to go do all those things. So it's like, what level are you at and finding what works for you?
yeah.
And, that in itself is a journey and a practice, and that changes as well, right?
Yes, yes, very true. Vaughn, do you see all of this through the lens of the nervous system? Because I know a lot of people do. A lot of people who really love polyvagal theory,
Yeah.
a lot of people who read Peter Levine, Bessel van der Kolk, that sort of stuff. A lot of the somatic therapists, they uh, hear everything, they see everything that we're saying through the lens of the nervous system. And the
Yeah.
more dysregulated the nervous system, the more intense the anxiety, the more intense the intrusive thoughts, the heart palpitations, the sensations, the shaking. Um, do you do it like that when you're working with someone, or do you sort of go into some of the intricacies?
I feel, yeah, it would be definitely tuning into what's happening with the nervous system for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Another reason we're alike.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. What about you?
Yeah, exactly the same. I think it simplifies it. It means that we don't have to, you've heard me say this, but we don't have to focus on each of the particular leaves or the tree branches of the tree. We
Mm,
just look at the base.
hmm
We just look at the big thing at the bottom. Okay, what's going on here? It's a dysregulated nervous system. Yeah, but my thoughts are saying, who cares?
mm.
I'd be a little more tactful than that. But really, it's just what happens when you have a dysregulated nervous system. You see the world as threatening. When
Mm.
you have a regulated nervous system, you see the world as safe, you know, and that's when you can cultivate curiosity, confidence, joy, slowness, laughter, all that sort of stuff.
I'm like kind of grinning on the inside
I
when you're
can
saying
see.
that to yourself, purely because you're not on social media. And on
Yeah.
social media, like a dysregulated nervous system is just like thrown around by everyone.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, if you want to calm your nervous system, if you have a dysregulated nervous system, it's just everywhere. And I feel like people, although some of it's amazing and true, that I think I saw a post yesterday. She was a somatic therapist that I follow who's amazing. And she was saying, like, watch where you're getting this advice from. Are they from a somatic therapist?
Yeah.
Because, you're working with your nervous system. So just as you're saying it, it's quite funny because you'll be so unaware of like how that gets thrown around on social media. So I was laughing
Yeah.
on the inside.
Well, I think it's not as simple as just calming down,
No, that's the whole
It
thing. Let's,
yeah.
yeah.
It's about finding a calmer lifestyle,
Mm,
which still means that we're going to have, peaks. Um, and like when you're editing a movie, like when you're editing a podcast or something on
hmm
on iMovie, and when you play with the audio too much, if you put it up too high, it starts to get into the red. That's what I see as a dysregulated nervous system, where it's like
hmm
you bring the audio levels down, and you might still have stressful experiences in your life, but it's never going to hit above the red, you
Yes.
know. Or if it does, it's like an extremely traumatic experience, like the death of a loved one or like the ending of something
Mhm.
huge. But those are few and far between because you've got those practices that keep you at a level that's sustainable and you're not in traffic all the time, drinking 10 coffees a day and looking at the horrible news of the world. And, you're doing whatever you can to for yourself because you deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I
Mm,
like that. I really like that. Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah. And again, I always want to come back to, I talk about this all the time on the group calls that we do together, but being in your unique experience. Like it's
Yeah.
all unique to you. And this was something we were taught on our equine assisted psychotherapy course, and it's something I use multiple times a day when people are speaking. Like, are they speaking in we should do this and we should do that and we should all regulate our nervous system and we should all do this one thing for anxiety? I mean, I'm always like breathwork helps anxiety. It helped my
Yeah.
anxiety and it's helped many of my clients. But just watching that when you're, especially on social media, of people saying, we all need to do this, we all need to whatever, which has probably worked for that person. But it's like, but what
Mm.
works for you? So, really getting to know your inner world, how your intuition communicates to you, what you want and need to do for you. And it's not like,
Yep.
oh, this person said this. So you're like taking it, that ownership away from you.
Yes.
It like bring it back and it's like, what do I need to do? And
Mm.
it's so unique to everyone,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Mm,
Which is also scary because it means that we all have to find our own path.
yeah. But
I
you can
think
make it fun.
I love that. Yeah. Yep. Important. It's an
What do I
important.
need to do?
Yeah. 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 I mean, the spike of adrenaline occurs. I'm not um, a neurologist, but I'm assuming it does. That uh, in the same moments you experience anxiety and excitement. I'm sure it does, right? Adrenaline increases,
I
cortisol
feel like,
increases.
yeah, I feel like at the time, sometimes when you have anxiety, like I'm being careful of saying you, but I can say to my anxiety, is this anxious energy or excited
Exactly.
energy? So I
Exactly.
think from an energy point of view, it could be something if you're at that level to ask, is this anxious
Yes.
energy or am I just excited?
Is this something that's happening to me, in which case I need to understand and reflect on to figure out, or is this something that's happening for me, in which
Mm,
case I can actually use it to write that book, paint that painting, sing that song, play that guitar, you know,
hmm
whatever it is, go for that run. The one caveat that I would add there, though, is that if you have all this energy at your disposal all the time and it's chronic, it probably means that you've fallen into a way of being that's just always on.
Yeah.
always very high, always very future oriented.
Like
And
the
I think,
pit.
yes, exactly. Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah. Everyone is just full of adrenaline. I suppose you have to if you're like an ER
Exactly.
trauma physician, right?
But I'd love to hear if anyone is works in like
Yeah,
ER and they're addicted to that. Surely, surely
totally.
let's get addicted to it. But
It
I
would
mean,
be important to slow down the coming out of that. If they retired
mm,
on Monday, and then just became a librarian 2 weeks later, their nervous system would really need to take some time because they've been in like a war zone for 50
I
years.
know.
Now it's like, yeah, it's a process. It's a process. But I just want to say very quickly that for people that do have high anxiety, I really want you to think about moving away from quick fixes and thinking more about long-term freedom and,
Mm,
and, and full recovery and developing a lifestyle that's more nurturing for your nervous system and
you.
well, exactly. For your particular nervous system, exactly, exactly.
Yes.
We have different ones, right? So what are all of the stresses in your life? Which ones can you control and work on starting from today? Which ones do you have to accept
Mm,
and develop a relationship around letting go, right? Um, I think it's important to mention.
mm. I think it's it's funny you saying quick fixes because as you know and I know, I did one breathwork healing session and
Yeah.
it stopped all of my panic attacks. Touch
Yeah.
wood. I've not had one panic attack since I did my very first breathwork session. But
Yes.
I always follow up that with I integrated it. So it was literally showing me why I was anxious. And then I
Yes.
took action like with all that information. And that's why I believe I didn't have another panic attack. So yes, there was like a quick fix in one session, but then I also did all the work after it to make sure that I didn't get another one.
But the work still goes as well. Like
Oh,
you
all
had
the
that one
time.
and that shifted a
Yes,
lot of
true.
the anxiety, but then you never stopped doing breath work.
Yeah, true. That is very true, actually.
So
Yeah.
you've just developed a lifestyle.
Yeah, true. True.
Yep. The one quick fix. Oh, and this thing I do every
Oh, I
day
do
now, by
every
the way.
day.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time it was like
I
it
know. It
that
shifted a
one like
lot.
it stopped all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So
shifted so much.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you get white teeth? You brush your teeth. How do you develop a healthy mind, a healthy body? Daily practices.
Yeah, for
Can't,
sure.
can't, can't run away from them.
Yeah. And I feel like if you've got one that was your quick fix or the one that works for you, like share it with us. I'd love to hear
Yes.
what your thing is. And when you do share that, really step into your uniqueness because I bet there's so many different ways that works for so many different people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And give that, contribute that, let everyone know what's working for you so that we can all try your
Hmm.
things. Siobhan and I would love to try them. Be
Yeah,
wonderful.
for sure. For sure. Great.
Cool.
End it there. I love it. I
End it
love these
there.
short little snippets.
Nice and simple. Yep. They're a quick commute. They're a little walk to your cafe and back. Um,
Evening
this is
walk.
you hanging out with a couple of therapists.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.